3 tips to understanding men easier. Hey ladies, my name is Danny and I'm your life and relationship coach. And today, obviously, we're talking about tips, right? Just trying to understand men. And this is something that I get all the time in my one-on-one coaching sessions. It's questions that I get in my emails. We see it on the YouTube channel, and for some people, it can actually be pretty difficult to try to understand how men work. It can seem very complex. It seems like, there's all these formulas that you have to follow, and there's all these strategies and all these things that you have to do, right? But the reality is, men are kind of simple when it comes to a relationship and feeling the need to be understood, right? So one of the things that I say all the time, and this is something that I found and I observed over, many coaching sessions, is the one thing that men prioritize, and the one thing that men find important is being respected, right? And for women, it's being understood. Now, that doesn't mean that men don't want to be understood, right? Because men also share a lot of values and a lot of things that they want out of a relationship, as women do. But in order to kind of understand a man better, there are 3 primary things that you can try and focus on. Particularly when it comes to a relationship and dating, and maybe, depending on what phase of the relationship you're in. So are you in the infatuation phase? Are you in the casual dating phase? Are you in the commitment phase? It's going to change and vary depending on each phase, but generally speaking, there are 3 primary foundational things that you can utilize, that you can follow in order to understand a man better. And the first one, and this one's going to seem a little bit odd, because the assumption would be is that I'm going to give you a very specific tip and say, this is what a man needs, and this is how you can better understand a man. But the reality of the situation is a little bit broader than that, right? It's a little bit more interpretive than that in some of these cases and in some of these tips. And the first one is just understanding yourself, right? In order for people to know you, you have to know yourself. In order to be able to provide somebody with their needs, you have to be fully aware of your own needs. Because if you aren't aware of your own needs, it's going to be very difficult for you to be able to fulfill your partner's needs. So what do you do to invest in yourself? What do you do to fulfill your own personal needs? And that's one thing that a lot of people forget about when they get into a relationship. And it's common and it's understandable, right? Because when you jump into a relationship with somebody, when you jump into a relationship with this new man, you're going to be excited. You're going to want to invest a lot of your time into the relationship because you have the excitement and the butterflies, and it's just new, and you want to spend all your time with them. So you start to sacrifice bits of your personality or things that you used to do before just to be able to accommodate and make more time and space for this guy. But at the end of the day, if you continue to do that, and if you continue to invest too much of your time in accommodating him, you start to lose a sense of self-identity. And when you lose that self-identity, you start to loosen your boundaries. And when you loosen your boundaries, that's when things kind of start to go a little bit haywire, right? So tip number 1, understanding yourself. Investing in yourself, knowing what makes you tick, understanding how you process emotion, not taking things personally, not being over dramatic about things, asking clarifying questions if there are things you're not 100% sure about. Just little things that you can do in order to make the dynamic of the relationship a little bit more relaxed and casual and fun and neutral. The second thing is focusing on actions over words. This is a common thing that I get all the time, right? Well, he said that he was going to do this. Well, he promised me that this is what was going to happen. He said he was going to change. He said that he would start to pick up the kids from school on Wednesdays, but now he can't. When you rely too much on an individual's words, there is a tendency for disappointment. And the reason being is not because they don't want to fulfill their word, but we are human beings. We make mistakes. There are things that we forget about. Maybe there are external factors that are stressing him out and he can't focus on the original things that he said. Maybe he suffers from short-term memory loss. I will be 100% honest. As a guy, I have a tendency of forgetting things all the time. It's not that I am purposely doing it. It's not that I'm trying intentionally to, neglect or dismiss what my partner wants or what they need. But the reality is, it's just kind of how it works. We are not the greatest multitaskers. Women, I give it to you. Hats off to you. You guys can multitask like crazy. But men are not usually built that way. So really just kind of relying on the actions, So if he's saying to you that he's going to spend more time with you and you actually see him following through, then you know that he is serious. You know that he is committed to the process. You know that he is wanting to invest more time in the relationship. So again, one of the second way of really kind of understanding a man and getting to know how they work and how they tick is just really observing their actions over their words. Are they doing the things that they say they're going to do? Are they not doing the things that they say they're going to do? And if they're not doing them, how do you navigate that, right? How do you resolve that conflict if it does become a conflict? For some things, you might be able to just brush it off and say, you know what, it's not a big deal, picking and choosing your battles. But for other things, it may be something that's affecting you morally or your core values or the things that you expect out of a relationship. And in that case, how do you deal with that? How do you manage that? So again, actions over words. The third one is understanding the concept of the challenge, right? So we say this all the time, and I say this all the time with my clients, especially women who are trying to reattract a man or keep a man or get him to commit. And it's really about the game of the chase, right? Understanding that men enjoy a challenge. Men are goal-oriented. And now I'm not saying that women are not goal-oriented as well, right? Because there are so many women that I speak to that are incredibly driven and motivated and goal-oriented, incredibly successful and doing great things. But in regards to just how men work and tick in regards to romantic relationships and intimacy and attraction and all of that stuff, they're goal-oriented. So once they achieve that goal, right? So if you're the goal and they want to get you and they finally achieve it and they get you, they have a tendency of kind of relaxing a little bit, sitting back. It's not as much of a challenge anymore because they won. They got exactly what it is that they wanted. So how do you keep him chasing? How do you keep it a challenge? And this is kind of where the dynamic of the push and pull comes into play and the laws of attraction. So, investing time in him and then pulling away a little bit and making him wonder, okay, well, why is she pulling away? Why is she not giving me as much attention as she was? And that's a shift in power, right? That's a shift in the dynamic and getting him to continue to chase and understanding that. So maybe sending him little, passive messages via text, things to get his imagination running wild when you're not around him. And then maybe not responding to him when he responds to you for a little bit of time, right? So that kind of fuels that fire and keeps him wanting more, keeps him interested and keeps him trying to continue to chase you, which after all is kind of the goal. Now, there's a fine line, right? So you don't want to have him chase for too long. And I say this all the time, even the cheetah gets tired. So the cheetah can chase the gazelle because that's what it's built to do. But if the gazelle continues to outrun the cheetah is going to give up. So don't try to outrun your partner too much, but just enough is exactly what you need in order to keep him interested. If you like this video, please make sure you hit the like and subscribe button down below. I love to have open dialogue with people. So if this is something that you relate to, if you have any questions, if you feel like I may have left something out, please make sure you leave your comments in the comment box down below. Again, I love to read all of them. Maybe you just want to know a little bit more, right? You want to dive in a little bit deeper. You can visit us at happilycommitted.com where we have a multitude of different articles and blogs and videos related to this subject and many other subjects as well. If you want to book a one-on-one coaching session with myself or any other of the amazing coaches that we have on the team, you can also do that directly through the website. Again, my name is Danny. I'm your life and relationship coach. I hope you guys are staying happy and healthy, and I'll see you guys soon.